development and hard work, and I'm really pleased to introduce this new drone to you today. Quickly, before we start, really briefly about me. Some people may know me, some people may not know me. So my name is FX, François-Xavier, way too long and way too French. So my name is FX. I'm the regional sales manager for the Americas at Parrot. It's been 10 years that I'm in the UAV industry. I've been working in different territories, in France, obviously, then in Latin America, in Middle East and Africa, and now I'm in charge of the Americas. I'm part of Parrot Drones, the quadcopter company. But just before we start, I also want to remind people that Parrot as a group is actually more than only Parrot Drones. Parrot is a European leader in the drone industry, and we have different companies that are actually part of the group. So Parrot Drones is the quadcopter company. SenseFly is the fixed wing company we're having. Pix40 is our company dedicated to softwares, photogrammetry, and Microsense is the company we have for agricultural payloads. So that's Parrot Group. Parrot Drones, so this is the launch. We have, this is the new, we're going to talk about Parrot's next generation drone. It's the product that we have announced last week, Tuesday, and the product is called the Parrot Anafi USA. So, well, just let's talk first about how the product is born and how we came up with this thing. A year ago, a bit more than a year ago, Parrot has been selected by the DoD and the DIU to develop a project for the US Army called the Short Range Recognition Program, the SRR. Several companies have been selected. Parrot was one of them, and we have, along with the US Army, developed a drone that fits the needs, the military needs for what they want to do. Parrot Anafi USA is also the result of this project. Parrot Anafi USA is not the same product, but has a lot in common with what have been developed for the US Army, and we took the decision to launch this product on the commercial side of things. So while we're still in the SRR, Parrot Anafi USA is going to be available really soon on the market for professionals. So Anafi USA has very, very much been built to meet the demands of different people and different vertical audience. We've launched Anafi Thermal in June last year, and the Anafi platform overall, and we've learned and listened a lot to what people wanted to see in a drone. And so we've built this drone with really the users in mind. And so the target that we have with this drone are really much so first responders, meaning police, state troopers, firefighters, search and rescue, security agencies that need these type of features all in one on a drone, and enterprise professionals. So inspection, energy utilities, surveying, these type of people. The drone has been, as I said, designed for the US Army, but is really made for the first responders and the enterprise professionals. So that's about the target market. Maybe you want to, we can also discuss a bit what we have. So here's the drone. We'll go through the camera features in detail. But first, I'd like to start with the security of this drone.
Sure.
You're aware security is a concern, and especially for first responders in operations, etc. And Anafi USA is actually offering the same high-end security and imaging capabilities as the Parrot drone SRR that we've been designing for the US Army. And as a result, first, we need to state clearly that this drone is made in USA. This drone will be made in USA. It's a requirement from the US Army. So we have partnered with a company based in Boston, Massachusetts, which is called Neotech. This company is established since many years and produce and assemble products for the military, for the medical, so really high-end technologic products. And so we will assemble and produce this product here in the USA. Anafi USA has been built really with the security and the data in mind. So what we've done is that first, this drone, you know, I don't know if you're familiar with GDPR. GDPR is is actually the most advanced regulation in Europe in order to protect the personal data and the privacy of citizens. We have worked really hard and we've worked in a really transparent way. So Parrot Anafi USA is compliant with GDPR regulation. Also, as a matter of fact, this drone will not send any data to Parrot by default. Right. Yes, users can share the data with us if they want to. But first, it's an opt-in in the software, in the FreeFlight 6 software. And second, if people do so, they have to keep in mind that all the data is actually stored in our secured servers in Europe. Again, all of this being compliant with GDPR. Right. Because we know security is of essence in those days and on drones, we have developed an SD card encryption protection on this drone, which means that every data, being photos, videos, logs, if you want to share them or whatever, everything is stored on the SD card and is encrypted with a 512-bit key length. Okay, it's encrypted with a technology called AES-XTS, and all of this is encrypted. So within FreeFlight 6, you will have the option to choose whether to activate or deactivate the encryption, and you can choose also if you want to connect the drone to your computer and so on. But as a matter of fact, if the SD card is lost or stolen, no one will access your data. You can have several SD cards being used with this drone. All the data will be encrypted with a really high level of encryption and will be protected. This is super important because, you know, and especially military or police force, fire department, they don't want to share, or they don't want people to find or just see their data. And so this is really important. In terms of security also on the product, so people need to keep in mind that two things. First, the drone is connected with the ground control, with the controller, using WPA2 connection, authentication. So no one can actually just jump in and take the link of the drone. Second thing, so this could be a way to get in, but it's protected. Another way to get in would be to actually kind of like have a software that you would plug or update on the drone. Every firmware update coming for the drone is digitally signed and recognized. So there is no way someone can actually load a firmware different than any software approved, firmware approved from Parrot. Okay. So this is really the full security thing we need to know: where the data is going, how the drone has been developed, and where the Parrot stand in terms of security, where the encryption system that we've developed on the SD card, et cetera, et cetera. So this is why we really, and we really highlight the high level of security we have developed for this drone.
Yeah, and that's very important because a lot of manufacturers, they talk about security, but they don't really go in depth on what it is that they're actually providing, where the servers themselves are going to be. And like you'd mentioned before, especially for public safety, DoD, having a secure network that's not going to be, Chinese based or anything like that, is very important for them right now, especially.
Exactly, and it's a philosophy also. I mean, it's something that we do, and we've always done. We're transparent in what we're doing. It's secured. We're using different available technologies that we implement in our drones, but they're open. They're open source. We just secure them afterwards, and we really try to be transparent and show to people what we do. There is nothing we hide.
Right.
We're a French company. We're a European group, and this is really the topic, especially for this drone. Now, about the drone itself and about what we've done. What is really amazing with this drone is what we've developed in terms of camera. So you guys might see here the camera system that I'm having. This is an industry first, is to have this type of camera on such a small device. Okay, what we've done is we have combined three sensors here. So one wide angle 4K electro-optical camera, which is a Sony CMOS sensor. We have also included another telephoto electro-optical 4K camera. And so these two work together, but not only together, plus they work with this third one, which is a thermal FLIR boson 320 camera. All of this has been, we've developed the product for all of these cameras to work together. And as a result, we're able to have a 32-time digital stabilized zoom, which is really an industry first in this kind of platform, and which will give to people really a good opportunity to zoom where they need to, being for police operation, fire operation, for inspections. I'll show you some example right after, just few images where you can realize how powerful is the zoom and what you can do with it.
Sure.
So that's about the zoom. We have the FLIR boson, and we actually blend, like what we've done already on Anafi thermal. We blend the 4K imagery and the thermal imagery. Now, because we have a 320 FLIR boson, the quality of the thermal is much higher than Anafi thermal, and we are able to zoom also in thermal, because the thermal is kind of a layer that we add. Okay. Synchronizing all these three cameras together is a big thing. This is still mounted on a gimbal, which is, so all of these three cameras are stabilized. It's an hybrid stabilization. So as you're aware, at Parrot, we are really used to do electronical stabilization. So on this one, we did kind of the same thing, where we are stabilizing mechanically on 2 axes and electronically on 3 axes. As a result, on this drone, you're able to actually have a 250 tilt. So it's 140 down plus 110. So it's even more than what we had previously on the Anafi thermal. This is because of the shape and the space we have. So we are able to do this here.
And that's great for inspections, especially, for anybody that's doing bridge inspections, building inspections. I know for a lot of my clients that are doing roofing inspections, that's a very useful thing, especially when they get to the edge of the roof and need to look underneath or anything like that.
Exactly, and this is a feedback we already had on the Anafi thermal. People really like the fact that they can tilt the gimbal up to inspect. So it's going to be the same thing with this one. with the additional new features. All the thermal media that has been captured with the drone, you're going to be able to replay, edit, and modify it and play with the palettes and so on within FreeFlight 6. I want to show you some example.
Yeah, if you have some images, that'd be great.
Yeah. So you guys can see my screen right now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So this is a pole inspection, and as you can see, we see the electric pole, and this is to give you an idea of how we can zoom in with the 32 times zoom in order to get details, especially on this pole. This is an example for inspection. Look, the camera looking down.
Mm-hmm.
This is an example on a telecom tower. These days, I've heard many people busy, mapping or inspecting telecom towers.
Mm-hmm.
And as a side note, Pix4D also developed Pix4D Scan and Pix4D Inspect, which is exactly the kind of tool you would like to use to this type of job. But here for the inspection and the scouting, this is also giving you an idea how far you can check the wires, and you actually flying quite far from the tower, which keep you safe also, from just damaging the unit, so you can just zoom in and still have a good understanding of what's going on the tower. This is
So
another
just one question on the zoom frame rate itself. So you're starting off with a 21 megapixel zoom. When you're fully zoomed into the 32 time, does the megapixel rate itself change at all? Do you lose anything on there?
Yeah, so it really depends on as the zoom is digital. Now the two cameras work together, and to a certain level, we have the zoom optical, and then you switch to digital.
Okay.
So this is really related to the video format you would record at. For example, if you are in 4K, you would get lossless zoom at time 5. Then you enter into the digital, where you will lose a bit. If you are in 1080, you're able to do time 10 optical, and then you zoom in digital. And if you're in 720, you're able to do time 15. So really depends on what's the video format you're using and the lossless reach of it.
Right.
But still, the main thing that we have to keep in mind is, even if there is a bit of loss of quality when you really zoomed in at 32, the zoom is stabilized. You can clearly see what's going on, and it's really like a good tool to identify what's going on. And as a matter of fact, I had some people just comparing it, with optical zooms, and they were impressed with the results. So we'll have more and more example, and we'll really show people what this gives. You have to try to realize, obviously, it doesn't give it much justice on an example like this in the PowerPoint, but when you try it, it's impressive. I've been able to test it myself, and I can see a target staying at 1.5, 1.8 mile, flying at 300 feet easily. So I clearly see what's going on there, even if it can be a bit blurry at some point, but it's impressive. Here's just an example. We actually, this is the wide angle camera, and so we're looking at this scene where it's actually a police scene happening there. And so when you zoom in, you can clearly see that the guy is getting arrested on the dock right there. So that's about the zoom capabilities in RGB. With the Boson 320, we are able to detect a lot of things at night, obviously, and much better than what you would do with a 160, 120, such as the Anafi thermal. So these are example at night detection at 65 feet, at 98 feet, where you can still clearly see the human body just standing there. 147 feet to 150 feet, basically, been done in meters. So and 320 feet, where you clearly still see the people here. So this is just to give you an idea at night what we can expect with the camera.
Right.
And this is a mix. This is where we are using the thermal on a solar panel. You can see the RGB in the edge just here, and this is the zoomed area in thermal. So, because as I said, the camera, the thermal, the zoom is also available in thermal. So it's available in RGB and in thermal. So these were just, few examples to show to people what we're talking about in terms of imagery. So that's about the camera itself. Regarding the product and what we have done, we really wanted something that is rugged and mission ready. So a big thing to know is the product is approved IP53. As you know, IP53 IP is a standard. What does IP53 mean? It means that the 5 means it's dust protected. Just so you know, we actually tested this drone in a closed box for 13 hours, just throwing constantly sand on it. After 13 hours in this closed box, receiving the sand, the drone was okay, could fly without problems, and the camera was working okay. So, of course, there is dust on the product, but it's still working. So it's very useful for people that are doing some tactical mission in complex environment. The 3 in IP53 state for the protection of the water. And it's protected against water falling as a spray at any angle up to 60 degrees from the vertical. That's the definition of IP53. And so this is what you can expect. So basically, you can fly this drone under rain without any issue. Regarding the stabilization, so the drone can fly in the wind up to 33 miles per hour, which is also the maximum speed of the drone. In terms of deployment, there is no GPS limitation, so you don't need to have the GPS synced to stabilize the drone. And you don't have any no-fly zones, which means that you will be able to take off with the drone wherever you are. Again, we're careful on this. It's the pilot responsibility, but the majority of pilots that are operating these drones are Part 107, and they really know what they can do and what they cannot do, or where the limits stand.
Just real quick, I had a question for you on the actual thermal camera itself. So it's a 320 by 256 Boson 320 camera series. What is the focal length on it?
So let me double check this for you. I'm not sure I have the focal length right here. It's the 320 256. Yes, correct. I don't have the focal length right with me. I will get back to you on this.
I think it's 4.3. I think I see it in the picture. It looks like 4.3 millimeter, which is pretty much the standard use when it comes down to the Boson.
Yeah, so it's not on the data sheet, but you're right. It's the 4.3 millimeter, which is the camera is exactly the spec as the Boson. It's the FLIR Boson that we've implemented in it. So yeah. So with that's about the camera. Do you have any other question regarding the camera while we're on it?
More so on the actual drone itself. So when you're doing like cell tower inspections, or you're doing anything that's going to be giving off any kind of EMF frequency, how does the new system that's inside of the Anafi USA, how does it combat that?
You mean in terms of interference and resistance of interference? So I don't have precise measurement, and we will have some and test it extensively. But what I can tell you is we already had very good results with Anafi thermal in terms of resistance around interference. And I've been testing myself, Anafi USA, in a power utilities facility with a lot of installation all around. And we don't have problems with the interference. You might want to be flying not too far from the ground control just to make sure, like, but the drone itself will not get in any interference with the compass or this type of thing. So the drone will keep a flying behavior really stable and there, just hanging tight.
And then another
Yeah.
question that we had was, as far as it goes with the actual color palettes that are available, how many color palettes are available on the Anafi USA?
Yeah, so I'll just jump on this within pre-flight 6.7 and explaining the interface. Really quick before we jump to this. So regarding the drone and how quick you can deploy, you basically in the operational in 55 seconds, just to turn it on, open the controller, connect, and you power on and take off. You have end takeoff, you have end landing, so you can launch from a moving vehicle, or from somewhere where you're not actually from a boat, for example. This is totally feasible. No GPS sync, I said. The drone is still very quiet. It's 79 dB at 50 centimeters off the ground. And is super light. We are at 1.1 pound when Anafi thermal is 0.7 pound. So again, in terms of just the size of the drone, I think people can realize a bit the actual size right now. But it's slightly bigger and heavier than the Anafi thermal. Having said that, it's still very compact and portable, and this is really the idea. It's to have something that you can transport easily. The battery time is an important data too. Battery life is 32 minutes, so it's longer than the current Anafi thermal. The pack content, really briefly, just want to show you what people are getting with it. Oops. Yeah, so that's the content of the pack. So Anafi USA is already coming in a rugged case, and this case has been designed for it. You're going to get 3 batteries with the pack. So each battery, as I said, is 32 minutes. We have the Sky Controller 3 included in the pack. Additional propeller set, multi-port USB charger, so you can charge everything in one go, from the batteries to the controller, and the tablet holder. That's about the content of the pack. Do you have any question on this?
Just on the case itself, if you wanted to add extra batteries or additional batteries, is there like a replacement foam available from Parrot, or how many slots of the battery itself are available in the Anafi USA case?
That's a good question. So currently the case has been designed to hold exactly the content, to have exactly the content that is shown here. I imagine that some people will want to have different foams in the case, or different configuration depending on what they do. And this is something we might probably work with our partners, such as Drone Nerds, just to propose this. It's an easy thing to do with dedicated case foam manufacturers, in order to be able to replace the foam that you have in your case and just put another one depending on your needs. So that's an interesting question, and we'll be happy also to know what people think. I mean, do they think that they would, to build these kits together, Drone Nerds and Parrot, do people think that they would need at least 4 batteries, which give them 2 hours flight time? Or all this feedback is good for us, because we can build and plan accordingly to get this ready for our customers.
And then just 2 more questions on the batteries themselves. Are they self-heating batteries?
No, they're not self-heating batteries.
Okay. And then more or less, how long do you say it would take to charge them up from once they're pretty much depleted back to 100%?
Yeah. So what you know, on the charger you have the USB-C fast charging
Hmm.
port. With this, it's 3 hours and 20 minutes to charge one battery. But the battery is also compatible with power delivery USB charger that are more powerful. And so with this, you write in 2 hours. So in 2 hours, you can charge the battery. So it really depends on the charger you're using. The
Right.
batteries are able to be charged quicker than with the charger that we have we're providing here. And
Hmm.
so if you want something the quickest, it's going to be 2 hours. And now, just a side note, people may know, but this multi-port USB charger, everything is charging synchronized, meaning it's not like we're charging one battery and then the other
Right.
and the other. It's just like everything is synchronous, is charging at the same time.
Okay.
Um, so regarding the product, and you know, we're talking about the pallets in thermal. So how will we use the product and with which application? We have developed, you know, Parrot has sold millions of drones since 2010, and we've really listened to what our customers wanted in the app and what was needed, etc. And so we are going to be at launch having Free Flight 6.7, which is the
Hmm.
new Free Flight 6 version dedicated to Anafi USA. Of course, this new version will support the three cameras of the Anafi USA, so we can actually switch from one camera to the other and use all the capabilities of the thermal and the RGB, etc. But the camera, so you were asking about the palette and what we have. We will have two gradients on the Anafi USA, which means we'll have one relative and one spot mode. Why is
Okay.
that? Compared to where Anafi Thermal was having three, we're having the absolute mode two. FLIR boson sensor is not a radiometric camera. So the thermal gradient has been adjusted so it can be used with percentage instead of temperatures. Okay, so this is why we have these two gradient type, relative and spot. This is for in order to select what you want to display on the screen. Now, in terms of palettes, and I know people like to use white hot or black hot or all these things. These are still available within, well, in line with which gradient you use. You can use a black hot or white hot if you're in spot mode or if you're in a relative mode. So we have to just make the difference between the gradient modes and the palettes and like just the overlay that you choose to have in terms of colors.
Yeah, and just to remind everybody too, that the when we're talking about the Anafi thermal, or even in comparison to the Mavic 2 Dual, we're looking at a 160 by 120 versus on the Anafi USA, a much higher resolution of 320 by 256.
Exactly. Um, on the new interface of Anafi USA, the Free Flight 6.7, we have a new widget available right on the screen when you're flying,
Mhm.
which will display the coordinates of a specific point that you choose. So the user will choose which system you want to use, if it's latitude or longitude, if it's MGRS or UTM, different systems, and it will have the coordinates of whether the drone or whether a point on the map, etc. And so you can share it directly. That's something that has been asked to us by some police departments, some defense departments. So we've added this native in Anafi USA as a widget on the screen. Um, you have also all the option for the SD card ciphering, as I was explaining before. As the SD card can be encrypted within Free Flight 6, you'll have all the options to do the encryption and the decryption of the SD card right in the app. Last but not least, we changing the way we actually making better the way you can do the return to home automatic, and so people will have the choice to set up the return home to the pilot or to the takeoff point and choose the altitude they want to return they want to return at, and the altitude they want the drone to over when it's back, etc. So a lot of different settings for the return home have been implemented for the Anafi USA. That's it. I don't know if you have any questions, Sam, before, I mean, I know we'll have a bunch of questions at the end, but just on your side, before we jump to the next point, which is the software ecosystem for Anafi USA.
I think we can go ahead and cover the software because a lot of the questions are actually about the software itself. So going in depth on that will answer most of them.
Okay. So this is something that we've started several years ago, is to make our platforms open and available for people to develop or to communicate with them. Okay. So we have our open source SDK. Jerome, our director of partnership, has been working hard to make sure that this SDK is available to people and is implemented with different types of solutions. As a result, Anafi USA, when launched, will be compatible with several different solutions available on the market. It will, of course, be compatible with Pix4D. So it's going to be compatible with Pix4D capture on the mission planning side of things. And it's going to be compatible with Pix4D React for 2D mapping and Pix4D Mapper for 3D mapping, 2D mapping, and all the mapper options. So Pix4D ready and Pix4D compatible at launch. It's going to be also natively compatible with a bunch of different solutions that are available in the UAV industry, such as Survey, so which is an intelligent video and image data platform. It will be available with Drone Logbook, which is a fleet management software. It's going to be available with Kittyhawk, which is security and compliance software for enterprise US operations. It's going to be available with DroneSense, which is the all-in-one platform for public safety operation, which also gives you the opportunity to live stream the feed of the drone on a center of command or with very, very, very little latency. And it's going to be available also with Planck Aerosystem, which is a solution to take off and land from a moving vehicle. So all of these partnerships are currently going on, and we actively working on finalizing the details to have all of these solutions compatible with Anafi USA at launch.
Okay, very good. And you mentioned before the Pix4D capture. That's obviously going to be something that's in addition to the Anafi USA, or does it come with it included in the package?
So Pix4D capture has always been free. You can download Pix4D capture on iOS or Android, and so you will be able to do your mission planning. So it's really the mission planning software. Then the Pix4D solutions, being Pix4D React or Pix4D Mapper, come at a cost, which depends if you're on monthly or yearly, etc. So to answer your question, Pix4D capture is free, fully free.
Perfect. And finally, let's talk about the cost of this unit itself. How it's been proven with other companies. I know that last time you and I had spoken, there's a lot of different departments that are actually using this drone right now, or at least a version of this drone that's available to them. If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, well, as you said, since we've launched the Anafi platform and the Anafi thermal, especially, it's been proven. The platform has proven its maturity and capabilities to professional users because a lot of them have been using it. In the defense, the French Army, the US Army, the UK Army, the Swiss Army are all our clients. Worldwide organizations such as the Human Rights Watch, for example, first responders across different territories and also especially in the US, and inspection and energy professionals. We just announced actually Monday, 6th of July, that we partnering also with Earth and drone responders to support public safety in their mission and work on building use cases for public safety. And so I was saying that first responders are already customers of us, and the platform has been proven with them, but we'll keep testing, keep doing use cases with the support of Earth and drone responders for the first responders and public safety operators. So that's about the platform and how it's been proven so far, and it's been proven really with what exists, which is the Anafi Thermal and Anafi 4K. Anafi USA brings a world of different possibilities right now with this platform, and I'm really excited to fly and fly it more and more and discover what we can do with it as we're building it. Regarding the price, so this is a big thing too, because we have succeeded in launching a mass production drone with the same value proposition as a military grade drone at a fraction of its price. The price of Anafi USA is $7,000. Again, it's really a big deal because it's made in USA, so it costs to make it here. The development is 18 months of development, just focusing on this product and so on, and so it's really coming at a fraction of its price. The product is unique in terms of the form factor we have and the payload capabilities and all the security layers we have on it. And it's really the performance price ratio is unmatched on what we have here.
I mean, especially if you compare it to something that's already on the market that is not necessarily DoD approved anymore or anything like that. Let's say something like a Matrice 210 with an XT camera. Once you've built it up to have the same more or less camera capabilities and everything like that, you're looking at about a $20,000 package, more or less, versus something here for $7,000 that can do the exact same thing.
Exactly, and it's also, I mean, it's just somewhere where you don't have anything like it. You don't have anything that is that small with a weight at 1.1 pound, portable, 32-minute flight with the camera capabilities. That level of security and so on, and coming at 7,000. There is no other drone available on the market able to do this. And I think this can just close this chapter, and maybe we can move forward with the questions. But ultimately, this is really what we pitch, and Anafi USA is the drone you can trust. Is the drone you can trust in terms of security, is the drone you can trust in terms of like mission ready, ruggedness, imagery, because of what we've just discussed and all the features that this drone has. I really believe it's going to be a game changer on the market. I'm happy, it's been 10 years I'm with Parrot. I'm really happy we continue pushing the boundaries. We've made a lot of efforts to make this in the USA and comply with the rules and be transparent on the security. It's a big deal for us. And yeah, I'm super excited to bring this on the market. Last but not least, we're actively working on the production of these units, and the product will be available in the USA in August.
Okay. So if you have a couple minutes, let's go ahead and jump into the questions here.
Yes.
So one of the main questions that we keep on getting here repeated is, the ability of this drone to actually fly indoors.
Yeah, so you can fly indoor. You can fly indoor because you don't need the GPS to be up and running to stabilize the drone. The drone is still having a stabilization that is done with the ultrasound and the vertical camera that you see here. So this is enough to stabilize the drone indoor, and you can fly it indoor. No problem with that. Now the size is slightly bigger than the previous one, so you have to take this into consideration, but no problem to fly it indoor. I see people already asking about prop guards related to indoor flight. We don't have them yet, but we will get people to do them for this drone.
What about the actual propellers themselves? Is this the same propeller set as the Anafi thermal, or these are a brand new version?
It's a brand new version. It's interesting that people actually ask about the propellers. What we've done is, well, first, you actually fix them just by, like this. So you can just take them on and off really easily. It's much easier. Okay, here we go. The propeller itself, I don't know if you see the propeller here, but
Yep.
it has a really dedicated shape at the end of it. And what we've done is that we've developed this dedicated shape, which is kind of like a whale shape, in order to improve the behavior in flight. So new propellers, bigger, the slightly bigger, and they're easier to put on the drone, and they have a dedicated shape to enhance the aerodynamism, basically.
Okay. And is Parrot planning on anything with the Anafi USAs? Are they planning on coming out with maybe like a multispectral camera for this drone or anything like that?
I don't know. We have a lot. We have a lot in the cooking
Yeah.
still. Now, really, this version has been very much designed to do what we just discussed and all these things. And so, multispectral, I'm not really aware. We have we still have the Microsense multispectral sensor. The Sequoia multispectral sensor on Parrot side. We're still selling this multispectral. Microsense have a bunch of different sensors from the Red Edge to the Altum, mixing the multispectral. I mean, you aware? You guys are selling them too. So
Yeah.
Nothing in confirmed for now. We're really focusing on launching this product and making it just big good success with what we have.
And then another question we've gotten was the flight modes. Can you talk about the different flight modes available for the Anafi USA?
Yeah, so you will have different flight modes available, from starting with the piloting mode when you are in manual mode, and so you can actually change the flight modes in terms of speed. So you're going to have a sport mode, you're going to have a video mode, etc., and you can adjust yourself all these speeds to create your own profile of how you prefer to fly. Then you're going to have some automatic flight modes with flight plan within FreeFlight 6. You can also have the waypoint, the cameraman mode. So different type of flight modes, as different flight modes are available on the regular platform. So yes, it's correct. We will have different flight modes for Anafi USA too.
What about the return to home function? So if you lose a connection or anything like that with the remote controller itself, does the drone itself have a return to home function?
Yes. So the drone has a return to home function. So the drone will automatically return as soon as the connection is lost. If the connection is lost, you can also mandate the drone to return to home using the button yourself, even if you're still connected. With Anafi USA, as I was saying before, we actually launching new return to home functions. So currently the return home work in a way where the home is set up from where you take off.
Right.
And so this is considered to be the home point. With the FreeFlight 6.7 return home, you're going to be able to choose if you want the drone to come back to the takeoff point or to the pilot position. You're going to also be able to choose the altitude you want the drone to return at and the altitude you want the drone to hover before landing, and the behavior at the end of the flight, if you wanted the drone to hover or to land, or all these things. So yes, return home available for sure, like it was on the past platforms, on the current platform we have, and new functionalities added to the return home. We might have an in-depth, review, tutorials, and so on available later for all these functions as we progress.
Yeah, and that's huge, especially if you're, launching from a vehicle, if you're launching from a boat, for example, from any moving object, and you need it to return back to you because you're not going to be in, point A anymore. Um,
Exactly. Yeah,
that's a huge add-on, especially for law enforcement. That's a huge add-on for them.
exactly.
Um,
This is exactly why we've implemented this. Exactly.
yeah. The final question I have is, for the SDK compatibility that you guys have available on here.
Yes.
Can you touch a little bit about that?
Yeah. So the SDK we have developed several different versions of the SDK.
Hmm.
Along with the different version of firmware and software we have on the drone. Anafi USA is no exception, so we will have a new version of the SDK compatible with Anafi USA. We have a portal available online where people can actually download a lot of documentation on the SDK, and they can also register some questions on the forums and so on. So we have an active community working with our SDK to be implemented or to be able to communicate with the drone and make sure that the software are compatible with it. So SDK, we full speed on it, and we're really behind it to give the opportunity to people to work with our platforms.
Perfect. Well, I'm excited for this unit. I can't wait to see it. I can't wait for it to actually start coming out, shipping out to us, getting it into the hands of different departments, and get their feedback, see how they like it, see how they enjoy it. I think it's going to be a game changer for the industry, especially with, like you said, how lightweight it is, how portable it is, all the features and functionalities that have been built into it. And as you mentioned earlier, there's really nothing on the market that's kind of hitting that level, and for that price point as well.
Yeah, no, it's I've been around. It's been 2 years. I'm traveling across the US and also a bit in Latin America and Canada, and I've heard many times the Anafi thermal is good, but we would like a better thermal, we'd like more zoom capabilities, blah blah
Right.
blah. We'd like something made in USA, and this is it. And I'm super excited. It's going to be great. We'll have so many options just because Anafi USA as such stand as a really good product, really full
Mhm.
of different features. But plus, when you add all the different softwares that will be compatible with it for the different type of verticals, depending if you are in public safety, if you are in inspection, and
Right.
so on. And so it's it's a world of possibilities, really. It's because the drone becomes a tool. The drone is a tool in your toolbox, a tool very, very well equipped, a very robust tool and secured that you can use with a bunch of other solutions. So I can't wait to really test this with all the different solutions. It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. And for everybody on here right now, if you guys have any other questions or anything like that, you can reach out to us directly here at Drone Nerds. We work very closely with FX. We work very closely with Parrot. As he mentioned, we have a lot of these units coming to us in August. So we are taking pre-orders now for them. If you have any questions, any concerns, anything like that, you can reach out to myself. My email is sam@dronenerds.com. Very simple. Um, uh, FX, if you want to share some of your information as well.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can, we as you said, we really working closely with drone nerds. We also, I mean, maybe this is something people need to know. We have fully empowered drone nerd to do the support, the repairs on our products, not only Anafi USA, but also all the Anafi series and so on. It's definitely. All-in partnership we are in with you guys, and so people are can just be working or buying their gears with total peace of mind because they will be attended, they will be supported, and we are here behind it. So yeah, it's just this support thing is something that we've implemented recently. So you guys are entitled not only to exchange the product, but also to troubleshoot and so on. We've implemented tools within DroneNerd from Parrot to do this. So I believe that's important, and people want to have this 360 thing when buying their gears.
Absolutely. Absolutely. FX, thank you again for your time today. Thank you again for showing us the Anafi USA. We're really excited about it. And as I mentioned before, guys, reach out to us if you have any questions, any comments, anything like that. Let us know. We're here. We're available for all your drone needs. So FX, thank you again. And I
Thank you
can't
very
wait
much,
to get
Sam.
this drone in hand. I can't wait to see what it can do. And I can't wait to be doing more videos about it.
Yeah, me too.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
very much for your time. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.